And we're back. So our chicken has been in the oven, and we are going to check it for doneness. So if you remember, I taught you in class that if you press right here, relax your hand, press on the palm of your hand by your thumb, that's rare. Say okay, medium rare. To your bird salute finger, medium. Ring finger, medium well. Pinky, well done. And so what we want to do is come to our chicken and give it a little press and see its firmness. And I can tell that it's firm, so I believe it's done. The other thing you can do is, if you can see it, I don't know if you can see it, some of these juices that are in here are starting to run clear. That's another indication that it's done. So I'm going to put a little tent on the top of it, loosely, to help that rest. And when it rests, the temperature is still going up in the chicken, so it's continuing to cook, called carryover cooking, and the juices are starting to redistribute back in throughout the meat. What happens when you put protein into heat is that protein seizes up, the juices start to come out. As you can see here in the pan, the juices have come out. Maybe you've cut open a steak or something right after it's come off the grill and it's got red juice all over your plate. Let that rest. That protein relaxes, the juices come back in, and you'll end up with a much juicier piece of meat. In the meantime, while that's resting, I'm going to make the sauce. Now, we had used, our pan here. Remember, I talked about these little bits in here called the fond. We want that, but we don't want this excess oil. So I'm going to dump that out. And this pan is heavy and it is hot. So watch me. You're about ready to watch me end up in the hospital. You can use some of that fat if you want to make your sauce. Maybe you want to saute some onions and some tomatoes, some garlic and basil and make a pomodoro sauce. Maybe you want to use some shallots and some mushrooms and maybe a little veal stock or something like that and make a forestier sauce. Doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want in there. But if you want to saute some product, leave some of the fat in there. If not, drain out as much of the fat as you can. Then we are going to deglaze. That is to get all these bits up with a little bit of chicken stock. All right, so I'm going to put some chicken stock in there and use that to scrape the pan. And you can see that all those little flavorful bits are coming up. They are now going to be a part of our sauce. I'm going to let that reduce a little bit, and then I'm going to add in my chicken velouté. I'm going to let that heat up some. If you deglaze the pan like that and get that fond up, you'll be much happier when it comes time to wash the dishes if that stuff's not stuck to the bottom of the pan. All right. I'm also going to put in a little bit of heavy cream because fat is where it's at.
How high do you have the heat?
The heat is right now on about medium high. I could turn it up some, but I don't want the sauce to scorch. That's a good question. That's a good question. And then I'm going to put two types of mustard in. A Dijon mustard, which my wife loves, and a Pomeranian mustard, which she doesn't love. So I'm not going to put as much of that because I got enough problems in my house. Speaking of my wife, she's still the one filming, like she did last time.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Ms. Doubleday. Mrs. Chef? Tracy. Mrs. Chef. That sounds ridiculous. Pomeranian mustard, Dijon mustard. Pomeranian mustard is just a large grain Dijon. Dijon is smooth, and the Pomeranian is grainy. We're going to put some in. I don't know how much it is. Too much for me, not enough for You can see my sauce is starting to boil. So maybe I want to turn that down a little bit. I can use my spoon here. I could also use a whisk if I wanted, but I don't want to get anything else dirty. I don't have to. And then I'm going to use some scallions as a garnish. Turn the heat down a little bit. The scallions are going to add a nice little light oniony flavor to it that I like in the background. And that's it, right? The sauce is kind of pretty much made. Got to season it. You know what's coming next. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit so I don't burn it while I'm talking. Going to taste it first, right? 1 spoon for my mouth, 1 spoon for the product. Fabulous. Glad I did that. Let's get that out of there. That's going to be hot. It is hot, and it hurts a lot. Ouch.
Maybe he should have used the whisk.
Yeah, right? Feel the awkwardness? All right, so I tasted it. I think it's pretty good. It doesn't really need any salt or pepper, which means, see, lesson unlearned. You know what it needs. Yep. A little bit of hot sauce. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And I'll stir that in. Turn the heat off. Let it sit for a minute before I start to plate it up. Sauté goes very quickly. You can make your sauce very quickly. When you start to work in a restaurant or a hotel, sauté is sort of the premier station on the line. You work your way up from prep into pantry, maybe into veg starch, and then eventually you'll get to sauté. Sauté requires a lot of mise en place, and that is having everything ready. You're going to have a large station, a large number of products are going to be coming out of your station, and you're going to make the sauce in the pan over and over and over and over again. You're not making a big 4-gallon batch of Dijon mustard sauce. You're making this sauce every time somebody orders the chicken Dijon. It's a station that requires a lot of skill, that also carries some prestige, in which it also carries a little bit more money when you get up to that station. That's really about it. No reason to belabor the point too much. I'm going to untent our chicken. And I did wash these while we were gone. So I'm going to put the chicken on the plate. Maybe I'll shingle it out like this. Be nice with some broccoli or some rice or some potatoes or something, whatever you want. Take the sauce. Put the sauce on top of the chicken. Everybody at home says, ooh, ah. It's delicious.
Ooh,
Yeah, see? And there it is. Chicken Dijon. It's a saute dish.
Sorry.
And like I said, this is a technique.
Sorry, baby.
You're using small, quick cooking products that are tender. You use a small amount of fat. Make sure your pan is hot. Finish it in the oven. Make the sauce in the pan. Done. Your imagination is the limit of what you can do with this. So get some practice in. Work with some different flavors. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.